Still on security, the National Security Advisor, Mallam Nuhu Ribadu, has revealed that many illicit weapons circulating in Nigeria originally belonged to the federal government. Speaking during an arms destruction exercise by the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons at Muhammadu Buhari Cantonment, Abuja, Ribadu blamed corrupt security personnel for allowing these weapons to fall into the hands of terrorists, bandits, and other non-state actors. He condemned the actions of those within the security agencies who facilitate the distribution of arms and assured that the government is committed to enhancing the country's security and preventing further illegal weapon proliferation. And now to discuss this, we are joined by a security analyst and executive director, Elixir Trust Foundation, Emmanuel Ikule. Emmanuel Ikule, it's nice to have you around on the news.
Same here, and thanks for the opportunity too.
So tell us, are you surprised by this latest revelation about Nigeria's security agents engaging in illicit arms trade?
For me, it's actually not surprising. There have been several reports in the past concerning some persons or security officers or law enforcement officers giving out arms to criminals in the past, which some were used for armed robbery and stuff for money. But most of these issues, why we keep having recurring issues with this type of crimes keep occurring over and over again, is because of absence of check. There's a saying that an unexamined life is not worth living. So if you really want to make a change, if you really want to move towards addressing concerns like this and avoid these issues coming out, it's not new. So it's sounding as if it's new, but it's something that has been there. The only issue is nothing has been done about it. We're only hoping that after his comments, something can then be done about people that have criminalized even the force and have criminalized handling of weapons too.
Also, aside the lack of due diligence when it comes to security issues, are there other causes that we may need to look at? People have talked about probably infiltration within the ranks of the Nigerian army or security apparatus. Some have talked about internal sabotage of the war against terrorism. Others have talked about poor remuneration. Would you also tie this situation to these variables?
Charity begins at home. So for a nation that have been affected and have direct implication on its citizens for a number of years, the Nigerian military have been able to go outside and address situations far worse than this. So for me, it has always been, not that they cannot, it has always been the permission to and the willingness of those in leadership to actually push towards addressing this. So for the military, I think they are the only sector, or should I say the only agency, which actually their budgetary allocation is not tempered with. Whatever they submit is actually what is being given to them over the years. That means there shouldn't be an excuse why they cannot be able to carry out their duty. That is one. Secondly, we are looking at a situation where for the past how many years there have been no audit of allocations given to the military. If you want to actually curb corruption and deal with ills inherent in the society, especially as with the alarming rate at which people are dying because of this, there should be audits of those that have occupied offices. There are budgetary allocations in trillions, in billions yearly. Each year, before you give somebody fresh money, you audit that which was given before. What was the money used for? If you are complaining every time that you don't have sufficient weapons or armory, what happened? The budget you asked for was given to you. So what is the excuse? There went a series of years, there's no change. You keep hearing reports that they attacked in a particular place and they were not prepared, or armories along the line, they were not sufficient. But that is what you requested for. And if it was provided, then there shouldn't be any excuse in the first place. Secondly, if we need maybe improved weaponry, and we don't have that capacity. It's allowed for synergy. We can as well also reach out to develop countries with better experience in handling certain ammunition to come and actually build our capacity. It's allowed for us to also grow in handling that. But if all the time we make those budgetary allocations is being given to us and then we complain that it's not enough, I don't think it's good enough.
Okay,
Another thing,
yeah, like I just needed to come in here because, you know, some time back there were reports of illicit weapons and motorcycles being smuggled into Nigeria through the borders, allegedly aided by government security personnel. Earlier on, you said that you actually support the security architecture in Nigeria to deal with criminal activities in the country, but now you've also mentioned the lack of account audits, the lack of monitoring, the lack of regulatory or oversight functions. So if we're seeing this lackadaisical attitude on the part of the handlers of this of security in the country, how well can we then trust them to deal with the issue around insecurity in the country?
Yes, it's actually a worrying situation, but before I go to that, it's actually the responsibility of the army to actually address issues of porous borders and all that. It's their responsibility to prevent external invasion of the country or issues of internal aggregation of certain persons or groups. So if it's their responsibility to block our borders, then why should they be complaining of each porous borders? Because that is their primary responsibility. But unfortunately, in the last administration and currently, we have seen the military leave their primary responsibility of doing that to come and perform the roles of the policing role, which shouldn't be so. And we keep complaining of porous border. If they can go back to their original duty of their primary assignment, I believe to an extent, the issues we have will only be issues within that we are capable of dealing with. But as long as you are allowing the borders, people can come in and go as they want. These issues will continue to happen. And what I also know is for ammunitions, every ammunitions that they are being produced, they have maybe serial numbers or numbers that can help you track where it's being produced from and how it also enters your country. If it's being produced from Turkey or wherever, you can also track who produced this and it was sold to who. That can as well help in addressing these issues within. And then issues where constantly people in the past have been able to use these guns to give out.
Yeah.
And even when you discover these persons that have been found wanting, you have not been putting these people to account. So as long as erring officers are not being punished, these issues will continue over and over again.
So basically,
our military,
Emmanuel, basically the answers are there, the solutions are there, but then remains the government, of course, to take a cue to deal with these issues. Let's just peg the conversation there. Emmanuel Dekwele, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.